follow-up meetings thereafter.
Okay.
All right?
And then we have one prepared statement.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, welcome. We are 4 candidates in the upcoming election. My name is Macleay. I plan to run in District 1 for the council seat. You're looking at people who are brought together in a strong sense of ethics, a strong sense of values, and a strong concern and serious commitment for the youth of our city. If there's one thing that really is drawing together the independent progressives right now, it's concerned about how our youth is caught up in crime, how our youth is not caught up in employment, and how our youth is not getting the kind of education they need and deserve. I personally have staked out a spot for myself, trying to do what I can as a volunteer, but in reality our government's not doing what it needs to do, and we need to have independent, ethical people to bring these progressive ideas that everyone in Oakland seems to like to talk about into practice.
My name is Theresa Anderson.
Cultural diversity.
Excuse me, sir? Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Theresa Anderson. I'm a resident of the North Oakland area. I'm a small business owner. I'm here because, like Don said, a lot of the things for our youth, I want to work closely with restorative justice in all 7 districts. I want to work with the youth in those districts to make sure that they have employment and training and not jails. We need more jobs, not jails. And I want to thank every one of you that came out to support and to come and hear what we had to say. And we appreciate you very much.
Thank you. We prefer to put guys. I see y'all and I say
thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
My name is Vicente Cruz. I am a school board candidate for District 3. I piggyback on everything my colleagues have said, and just to go on top of that is, we're also talking about a systemized, racist prison industrial complex system, right? That is designed to lock our children up, right? As a person of color, it most concerns me. And also, there was a great mic check at the school board on Wednesday, but we got to stop hollering at these current politicians. The elected officials do not have our best interests at heart, and I would even wait to say they haven't, at least as long as I've been around. So it was time for either put up or shut up, and it was time to get involved, and that's why I'm here.
My name is Menjivar. I'll be running for District 7. I've been a resident of Oakland my whole life, and I have seen the same conditions exist for people of color. Police brutality, high unemployment, no jobs, a lot of youth dropping out of high school, and tired of being told that it'll be fixed tomorrow. Now I will take it upon my own hands to start molding the future of our youth and take a real collaborative effort to find solutions. I know that I don't know everything, but working with my community, we will be able to build. Thank you.
Okay, we now have a statement that represents the 4 of us, and then after that we invite your comments and questions.
Friends, family, brothers and sisters, today we're here to discuss 2012, and in greater detail, the forthcoming elections. Oakland is currently at a crux. Mass unemployment, increase in violence and crime, home foreclosures, and poverty, which is strangling the life out of working class communities. Meanwhile, the simultaneous, tyrannical, oppressive regimes that continue unleashing militarized police in our communities to implement and ensure that the gap between the rich and the poor continues to exist and expand. Our schools and libraries are being shut down at alarming rates, increasing the disparity in education for people of color. Yet when these same people protest, they are incarcerated and or gunned down. This year, 2012, seems to be a decisive year where we have to reconsider the ballot or the bullet. We as people can no longer support Democrats and Republicans. They consistently continue to make false promises to the populace, also believing that it is all right to lie to our communities. These politicians blame each other, falsely portraying the image that they are not all at fault for the wrongdoing of the crimes that have been perpetrated upon the residents of Oakland. We have unmasked these hypocrites and recognized that progressive Democrat and Republican lessers serve as an arm for the ruling elite. We have attentively witnessed the masses of people awakening to social, economic, and political injustices committed by many of the nation's leaders. Singing "We Shall Overcome" in 2012, this is outdated and will no longer suffice. Begging and pleading for just wages, better education, and equality has reached its limits. Today we are here to continue our quest of building a better, more promising future for our elders and the children. If you believe in our plan of action, please stand with us in solidarity. Align yourself as our allies in pursuing freedom and liberation from the oligarchs and capitalistic structure that has devastated our lives for far too long. Thank you.
Now, I'd like to add one thing before we start the questions, Orlando. We have some invitations here. We are inviting the communities of Oakland to a meeting. The Oakland Green Party is calling a meeting to meet with all others interested in this election and presenting an independent, ethical, progressive alternative to status quo politics here in Oakland. That's an open meeting. All views are invited. All people are invited as individuals and as organizations. So that's going to be February 24th, Friday at 6 p.m. at Humanist Hall, where all such meetings are held. And here are the invitations. Make sure you leave with one. So we open the floor to you.
Will you have a candidate for Ignacio de la Fuente's district in District 5 or for the mayor if there's a recall election?
Part of the forum that we're doing on the 24th is definitely going to be inviting other people. We want to run for every open seat in this coming election. So if you know anyone else that wants to join on, again, they don't have to be a registered Green. As we're open to everyone as long. We only have two main focuses. One, we don't take any big money from corporate or anyone else, and we're not taking even any big nonprofit. That's the only kind of ground rules when this first time it happened. Any other questions?
Do you know anybody that wants to run and would like to work together with us? Get them there on the 24th.
Yeah.
That's what this meeting's about.
That's exactly what it's about. No one has questions?
I understand that you're hard at work on a platform. When will that process be finished? And can we get copies of the platform?
All of the documents and all of our literature will definitely be out on the 24th.
There's a draft letter that kind of outlines our thinking, and it's on the homepage of oaklandgreens.org.
Along with our first campaign videos too.
It's no big surprise. We've been focusing on budget reform, police reform, electoral reform.
Men's capital. Yes.
I'm a member of the Peace and Freedom Party, and I see on your list here you have a lot of good Green Party folks, but I'm hoping that you'll link up with the Peace and Freedom Party.
Oh, I would
You're
love to.
invited.
Yes.
You're
I was originally
invited.
Peace and
Very
Freedom
welcome.
until
Yes.
2000. And for me, the reason I switched over to Green, it really seemed that they were starting to embrace the hip-hop generation and really focus on people of color. I know the Peace and Freedom does that too. I thought the Green Party was more viable to get us actually up there. I would love to see at every debate all of these parties. You know, we need more voices. Right now, the two-party system, it doesn't work at all. You know, it hasn't. Probably since jump. A lot of times, even when they talk about, our founding fathers and all of this history. Okay, again, as a person of color, all those guys owned slaves. So anything they said, I have to take with a grain of salt because, again, we're still suffering from that today. Oh, no, yes.
I think one of the things that's holding us back is the question of revenue. How do you project getting more revenue for our city and for our schools?
I'd like to look at two proposals. One is I think we need to be looking at how Prop 13 has distorted our tax base. And I think that we maybe need to adjust the taxes that we're collecting as property taxes in some way that raising them but also compensating for the people who are being zinged by the Prop 13 last in, worst served system. I also think that there's a Port of Oakland. Well, I signed a check yesterday for $1,100 for my business, because every dollar that goes through my business in Oakland has to pay taxes. How come every dollar that goes through the Port of Oakland doesn't have to pay taxes?
If I can, on revenue, again, as a school board candidate, having revenue that I want to use a position when I'm elected as also an organizing tool. You know, rather than, you know, have police fighting all of us when we're trying to practice our First Amendment rights, you know, with Occupy, decolonize Oakland and such, you know, we really could be using our elected positions to rally. I mean, I'm in District 3, I have all these schools. Well, guess what, Sacramento? Guess what, you know, city? Guess what, county? We're going to hold classes on your front lawn. You want to talk about Occupy? I'm coming with my whole school district. And we will hold classes on your front lawn demanding that our tax dollars go for us. Right? I have a car full of bumper stickers, and there's always, one of them says, always money for war, never for education. Makes no sense. This illusion that there's no money really pisses me off. It makes me very angry. The money is there, they just don't spend it on us.
Yeah.
Right?
And the devil's in the details, and the details are in income tax allocation and what they call the franchise tax board equalization. Equalization seems to not be equal. We use a system of counting how many of our students are at school, and then we punish the Oakland School District for having a high truancy rate. And frankly, it should be the other way around. We have higher needs, we have to do something to address these children, and we're doing it for everybody, for all of California, for the whole country, and for all of our communities. And we should not be penalized for having these problems. We should be helped instead.
Questions? Yes.
Question for the school board. What would you do in a situation with like the Raheem Brown and a police officer killed the young man? How would you, in your district, how would you do it to keep the children safe
fight for all
from
the
situations like that?
District 2. Well, you know, we also have to realize too that right now we militarize our police, and they come into our communities, people of color, and harass us. I think of times where they strip search young men. For me, I would advocate for all of my colleagues that will be on city council that we start from the top down. That, you know, if you're allowing your police officers to do this low, which happens on a daily basis, you got to go. You got to go. And if that means that we have to have somebody from the community be the police chief and start cleaning house, that's what we do. You know, so my advocate would be, well, one, I'd love to see the police out of all of our schools as well as the military, get them off of the campuses first off. It seems to me all that does is we're even setting them up, you know, for this prison industrial complex. So that would be a start. If the cop's not there, can't shoot him, can't kill him. And then part of that goes back to also as us as a community. You know, the police don't come in our communities, we take care of our own. So we really have to step up that way. So that's how I would advocate.
At some point, they have to start being our police,
right? Not
somebody else's police. But we have a long road to go on that one. Now today, over at the theater, at the Grand Lake Theater, people are going to be talking about civilian oversight of the police. None of the things that we're talking about are new. None of the things that we're talking about are not being done by other people here in Oakland. Without that, what we're talking about is impossible. We're simply part of a larger movement. We have decided to do this. But many people across this city have been working on these issues. We have been working on civilian accountability to the police, over the police, for the longest time, and we have to keep working on it. We also have to keep working on these various other problems. We've been talking about doing restorative justice. We've been talking about doing civilian policing. We've been talking about doing community policing. We don't get that. We get Measure Y. We don't manage community policing. We manage Measure Y. We manage all the deals they make with all the different groups, and somehow to get our community policing, we have to promise something to the fire department. That's what we want to put an end to. We want to go straight to the point and start managing the city to accomplish these goals that basically the public has wanted for a long time. They voted for Measure Y not because they wanted to deal with the fire department, but because they wanted community policing. And that's the way we need to focus this. Those police should be proud to be our police, and we should be proud to have them be our police. That's not the situation now, so it has to be corrected.
Yes. I have a question. Now, as far as the younger generation, you know, you have these kids who are angry, who are upset. A lot of them aren't even registered voters, but they live in these communities and they're upset as far as what's going on in their own communities. What is it that you guys plan to do in order to help these young people get over their fears of the police, get over their fears of authoritative figures, get over their fears of whatever it is, that they can coincide with our community and we don't have to be afraid ourselves?
Well, for one, they got to register to vote. We're going to be talking to them during this campaign, And it's going to be an opportunity for us to tell them to vote and to vote against the system.
That's right.
Vote for us. Vote for alternatives. Don't just register to vote for the same thing that we've had all this time. So that would be the first expression of taking power, of saying, okay, you're 18, you're a citizen, you should vote. You should express yourself.
The parents should have took power long before they turned 18.
True enough. But these are things that have to happen now. We have to deal with the situation as it is now, and the people as they are now. The other thing is, you know, anybody who works in city government, every dime we spend, every contract that happens, we should be hard-nosed about it and saying, where are the jobs for our community? And if it doesn't have jobs for our community, I'm sorry, it's not a priority.
If I can piggyback on that, you must have been in my head because I was talking, I was preparing to say too, that is going to be our biggest message, and the only way that we take this over, and I'm from the hip-hop generation, Dead Prez is one of my favorites, right? This is not a makeover, this is a takeover. And that'll be the message that we're sending to them, is that yes, I know why you held your vote in your pocket. I understand. I'm just as cynical. But rather than just scream and holler, right, I'm going to step up and go, you know what, I'm going to go sit up there. And instead of hollering out here on the street, I'm going to holler behind that microphone, and I'm going to holler to the people. And if we can convince them that we're going to be their voice and really make those changes and advocate for those changes on a regular basis and organize our communities in our district, not just get elected and sit up there and holler behind the mic, but still going out. I bet you I will spend more time on the street than I will in my office organizing people going, let's take this back, right? So that is going to be our biggest message, and I do believe we can do it. I do, because it'll be their opportunity. Like, look, if we register East and West Oakland, this is done.
We have a young person right here. He wants to say something.
Well, I'm 23 years of age. I'm from Oakland. I moved to Oakland at the age of 4. I was born in San Francisco. So I grew up as a young man of color. I went to college and still came back and observed that the high incarceration rates were impacting, traumatizing our youth. Often, you know, I'm walking to the liquor store and police hold the gun to my head. And I could have easily said, oh, I'm going to fight the police, but now I can relate. My story can relate to the young Latino, the young black man in the ghetto. I'll be running for District 7 from 68th Avenue to 105th, which is a huge population of black and Latino. And the difference between us is the fact that I'm from here. Larry Reed is not from here. He moved here at the age of 30. Ignacio de la Fuente moved here at the age of 27. They're not from Oakland. What do they understand about our politics, about growing up in this city? What does it mean to actually feel, not read a book and think that they have an understanding of how we mature and develop, but really embrace how we live?
That's how. That's a better answer right there.